I am a voice actor with over 15 years of experience. I started when I was 16 years old on a little dead website now called Voice Acting Alliance, and I just started auditioning for um, projects there and just worked my way up, and now I'm a voice actor for Crunchyroll.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to another episode of Movement Radio. I am Chip Hazard,
I am Talon Williams.
And I'm Roger Sierra.
and today we are joined by another special guest. Today we are joined by Kalyn McCabe. Kalyn, how are you today?
I am doing wonderful. How are y'all doing?
Doing
Pretty good.
great.
Good. Yes.
Can't complain.
So first, I would like to say thank you for joining us this evening.
Thank you so much for having me.
No, the pleasure is all ours. So for those who don't know, who is Kalyn?
Well, I am a voice actor with over 15 years of experience. I started when I was 16 years old on a little dead website now called Voice Acting Alliance, and I just started auditioning for projects there and just worked my way up, and now I'm a voice actor for Crunchyroll.
That's pretty
Awesome.
cool. Pretty cool.
Absolutely. Yeah. So Chips asked the question, who are you? I'm going to ask the question, who were you before you became a voice actor, before you had, all these different opportunities? Like, what sparked it for you? Like, what was your initial interest in wanting to do voice acting?
Well, way back in high school, everybody had their weeaboo phase. And the major animes that were popular at the time were One Piece, Sailor Moon was mine, and then there was a little anime called Full Metal Alchemist. And controversy aside, Vic Mignogna's performance in that show was kind of like the spark that really I want to do this. I want to create the emotional journey this character is going through for other people in the next generation. That's what I wanted to do.
Okay.
That's awesome. So it was that performance in Full Metal Alchemist that kind of sparked your interest. Um, and then you said at 16 you started kind of delving into what was that process like?
Lots and lots of research. Voiceover was pretty new at the time, way back in like the late O's, I think they're calling it, like 2008, 2009, is when I really started to take it seriously as a profession, as a career. And I just delved into any books I could find on the subject as far as business is concerned. It's like, what does it take to be a voice actor? Do you have to learn how to market yourself? How do you run a business? How do you pay taxes? Which was really hard to get a straight answer out of anyone. Or how much money do you make as a voice actor is another huge question, and which it does vary a lot. So after I actually bought a DVD called Adventures in Voice Acting by Tara Platt and Yuri Lowenthal, I believe. And I watched that DVD until it broke, just to really solidify it into my brain. Like, this is what I want to do. This is going to be my life for the foreseeable future. And I'm okay with that. It's like, there's nothing else that I could see myself doing for the rest of my life. I just wanted to help tell stories.
That's
Okay.
interesting. I wonder if that
Absolutely.
DVD is still up, or if it's like streaming somewhere.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure.
I'm sure you can find it on
Somewhere.
YouTube somewhere,
Mhm.
Sure, it's available. Mostly anything, it's like, oh, if it's not on a streaming service or it's not on DVD or something, somebody probably used some old VCR and just videotaped it and put it on YouTube or something. I don't know how that process worked. But was you okay? So obviously you just talked a minute ago, Full Metal Alchemist and One Piece and stuff. Do you still watch anime today? Like, not just the stuff that you're in, but are you still a big fan of anime even to this day?
Sad to say, I am not. I will still work on it. Like some of the premises for some of these shows are just too out there for me, but they are creative, they are interesting, and I'm not going to yuck anybody's yum. But I think I've outgrown that part of myself, so I'm much more interested in more, not necessarily anime, but like children's television. And let's see some examples of like Avatar: The Last Airbender is one. Centaur World is one I've watched recently. Um, the Dragon Prince, shows like that are the type of shows that I'm into.
Okay.
And anything with like magic, like magical girls and mermaids, I'm all over it.
I like magical girls and mermaids. I kind of grew up on I grew up with four older sisters, so I grew up on like Little Mermaid and stuff.
Mhm.
So I do really enjoy those kind of movies. The most recent Disney movie, Luca, I thought was really good. Obviously not a girl, but it's got the mermaid-esque
Mhm.
features.
It's a good
Mhm.
movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
So um when you start out at 16 and you're you join this now defunct kind of website where you're learning and gaining this experience as a voice actor. Do you remember some of those first projects that you worked on?
Oh gods. I kind of got really lucky with Voice Acting Alliance because there was a lot of Mermaid Melody dubs that were going around on that website, and that was like my anime that was super popular with me at that time. And I was like learning all the songs and being like, okay, I can be whatever person that you want me to be. But like, yeah, so those were the projects I was auditioning for. Most of the time were just the song dubs. Um, but gods, I just remember half the projects not even moving forward after the casting stage,
Oh,
because the producers are just like, oh, I actually have to do this now. I have no idea how to do this. So dropped off the face of the planet.
oof.
Yeah.
Um, so as you're gaining this experience and everything, at what point do you kind of realize like this can really be like my career? Did you realize that kind of early on, or did it take, several projects before you were like, okay, this is really gonna be my career?
Um, I would say, yeah, definitely in high school when I first started out, because I was 16 in sophomore year. So junior and senior year were basically just getting my foot in the door, just figuring out what a demo reel was, and like throwing myself out there and auditioning for every project that I could get my hands on. And when university came around, I actually went to university to get my theater degree because all the voice actors are just like, you have to get experience in theater, you have to get experience in acting because the key word in voice acting is acting. So that's what I went to university for. I actually got my Bachelor of Arts in it. So after college is when I started to like diversify my portfolio because anime you can only do in three places: Los Angeles, Dallas, and New York. And I lived in neither of those places. So I had to do with what I had. Um, so I just kept on auditioning for projects like I think Voice Acting Alliance was pretty much dead at that point. So I went on to like Voice Acting Club, or I think Casting Call Club was on the rise at that point in time. So I threw myself at Casting Call Club for the majority of picking up the paces, getting something that I actually could put on a resume, because you couldn't put anime on your resume, because that's a huge no-no when it comes to actual prospects and people that want to give you money for your voice. So I just started to build up my resume after college because I really wanted to like have something. So when I moved down to Dallas at some point in the future, I wanted something that I could actually show somebody and be like, hey, you can take me seriously because I have done actual projects that I can put on a resume, and not just be like any other anime voice actor. I don't want to say like weeaboo, but like somebody who's just thinking that anime is super easy to get into when it's actually really not. And I could look more credible in front of a casting director.
Why, if you don't mind me asking, why is anime looked upon as like a bad thing? Like, why would they, like, why is it so damning to have that credit on your resume? If you don't mind me asking, like, why do they just not like the fact, like, oh, she's just doing anime, or, like, explain it to me. Why is it damning to have an anime credit on your resume?
Because it's so popular, people don't give it the credit that it actually deserves.
Okay.
Because it is a skill. You're using a lot of skills when you're doing dubbing. You're using your timing skills. You're matching voice flaps. It's an art. It's a science. It's a performance that you're putting on that is already been chosen for you by the people in Japan that have already created it. And now you're trying to match that performance. You're trying to match the emotional cues that the person already gave you. And if you don't get up to that particular level, you are crucified for it. So anime is a niche that in the greater scope of the voice acting world is kind of looked down upon, because again, it's a dime a dozen sort of thing, and all of the actual money is either in commercial or corporate stuff. So it doesn't carry the weight as other major like video games and stuff like that.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, I can see how that would be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
sort of-
also adults look at anime and they just see cartoons for children. So there you go.
Yeah. Do you
Anime
think
gets
that
to-
process?
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask, do you think that's kind of changed a little bit over the course of the last several years with the popularity of anime growing as fastly as it's grown, where they can say, oh, he was in One Piece, or hey, he was in this anime, or he was in that. Maybe we should give him a shot because we know what he can do. You think it's different now compared to what it was back then?
It definitely has, because I've heard of people booking agents because of their performance in a anime, or booking a lead performance in an anime. They actually got an agent off of that performance. So it's gaining traction. It's gaining the weight from where it was before, because agents are looking at anime and being like, oh, you booked a lead role. That means you're hireable. That means you are you're doing something right.
Right.
In the eyes of a casting director or an agent that is trying to like get you jobs, they need to know that you're able to deliver a performance that is sellable, more or less, quote unquote. And if you keep on getting those lead roles over and over again, they'll definitely take notice that on a resume, being like, hey, this person is able to make money, so they will able to make me money. And that's what an agent is looking for.
Awesome. Okay. I ain't meant to cut you off, Roger. Go ahead.
I forgot what I was going to ask, to be honest. I was thinking about that now.
I do that a lot. I apologize. I had a
No.
thought. I had to get it out. I'm sorry.
No worries. It'll come back to you.
Eventually.
It'll eventually come back. I was gonna say I'm trying to think about what it was going to be, but nope, it's gone. It's gone.
Damn it!
So
Damn it! Talent ruins everything.
this is how we operate.
Yeah.
So when do you feel like you kind of hit your first big break in the voice acting world? What project was that?
Um, the one that I thought was going to be my big break was when I worked on a Hulu show called Big Mouth. It is a Korean drama. I gotta forget the plot now, but I just remember doing a lot of scenes where I did a whole bunch of background voices, all the walla in the background, of like reporters and stuff like that. So Big Mouth I thought was going to be my big break, but nothing significant has come since then. But I'm still open and available for any casting agents out there. That was the
Yeah.
biggest thing because I was working for Disney at that point.
Oh yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I'm on your IMDb right now, and I see you have a slew of different credits to your name. Obviously, I think your most recent one is Paradise Lost. Am I correct on that one? The latest one?
Yes, I did a couple of incidental voices and background voices for Paradise
Yeah,
Lost.
yeah. And then I see you were a part of 52 episodes for a TV series called Safety First.
Yes, I
Yeah.
love Safety First.
What for the people that don't know, what is Safety First?
Safety First follows a cop or a safety investigator called Anise Alvarez. And she has gone into the profession after a tragic event where both of her parents died in a car accident.
Hmm.
So she is devoted her life to preventing any other unfortunate mishappenings from ever happening again. But that turns into a little bit of an obsession over the course of the show. And she also has to deal with like the anti-safety brigade and a father and mother that were absent while she was growing up. So she's dealing with the trauma of that, and her sister trying to like have her move past that, but it's not exactly happening. It's a wonderful show.
Okay. And it says
Awesome.
you're currently working on, or you're in production currently on a, I don't know if there's an NDA involved in this, so you can tell me to shut up if you don't want to answer. But there is an upcoming project called The Texorcist. Is that correct? It says you voice a character named Wendy.
Mm, I honestly don't remember. I won't say anything just in case, but I'm sure.
Okay, okay. No, you ain't gotta say nothing.
Yes.
I totally understand. I totally understand. If it's on IMDb, I asked the question. That's why I was asking.
If it's on IMDb, I do not question it. I will take the credit.
Right.
That's right. So when it comes to your vocal range and the voices that you can do, which is your favorite style of voice to do?
I would say the one that books me the most stuff. But what I usually go to for any sort of like, if I'm left to my own devices, I would just do my standard teenage girl voice where I'm just basically moving as a, or playing a, sorry, I have a dog and he's moving around. Standard assistant to the main male protagonist or big sister characters that I usually play. Like this is around slightly higher than my usual voice, but it still gets the job done.
Hmm. Hmm. And then to follow that up, back to your vocal range, uh, which is the voice that maybe is the hardest to sustain over a longer recording session?
Oh, goodness gracious. I had to do a super high cutesy voice. Um, let's see if I can do it. It's Tactica, and I had to do this entire voice for a longer period of time. It took me like an hour and a half to get vocal strain from this voice, and I also had to sing in this voice. So that was a session.
I can see how that would be difficult to sustain over a longer recording session.
Many cups of tea were consumed after that session.
I bet.
Yeah. We've asked several voice actors this question over the last several months that we've been doing this. The introduction of AI, artificial intelligence, in the animation industry, whether it's for cartoons, commercials, anime, even voiceover, dub work and stuff like that. What is your honest opinion about the usage of artificial intelligence in the industry?
I'm terrified of it, to be quite honest. That's why I have kind of been pulling back on doing any additional projects outside of the ones that I've committed myself to. So I have pulled back because there are no regulations, and I've heard of voice actors like having their voice stolen and having like the AI having them say really terrible things and really unkind things. So I don't want that for myself. So I have been pulling back a little bit on how my voice is used, because if there's no regulations, then they're stealing, and I don't want people to steal my voice and or have it say something that I cannot defend because there are no regulations.
Yeah. Do you think at some point we might get some regulations on the usage of AI stealing essentially other people's voices, or do you think that's just going to become industry standard at some point?
I don't want to bash AI because it is quite useful. But I believe there will be regulations around it, hopefully in the near future, probably not right away. But I believe in certain circumstances, it is acceptable to have AI voices. At some point, I personally don't think it's acceptable at the current moment in time, because I've heard of like long dead celebrities having their voices cloned and having them be produced long after they have passed away. And I don't think that's honoring the dead at that point in time. But I think to a point it is acceptable. But if you want to have like an actual performance around it, if it's something that you really want to convey to your audience, human is the way to go.
Human is the way to go. I like the way it's phrased.
I will agree with you 100% there. I've long said that once you take the art from the artist, it's no longer art.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Exactly.
And people can tell.
Yeah, people can definitely tell. Like, I'm on TikTok and like all of those artificial voices. It's really quite nice because I have ADHD, and hearing and reading that yes, thank you. Um Hearing and reading, like if they have subtitles, like it makes accessibility so much easier. And I think AI, and when it comes to an accessibility standpoint, yes, it is definitely useful in that regard.
yes. Um, so you said you've kind of pulled back from taking on new projects as of right now. But moving forward, um, once you start accepting new projects and everything, do you want to kind of branch out and maybe do video games or even live action at some point?
I actually have done both already at this point in time. There's this new video game that came out by under Cine Art. It's called The Clash of Melodies, and where
Okay.
I play Tempu. Tempu is like this seductress that tempts the main character as they're going on their little adventure, and that is a video game that I recently was in. And then another one where I don't know if y'all or have heard of Studio Alon. but they do a
Mhm.
whole bunch of like women loving women stories. I played their spokesperson called Melanie. I played their spokesperson for a couple of videos before they went in a different direction. And then there's Dream Tier Elementar Rising by Skytrick. I was in there as the mother figure to the main protagonist that turns, I don't know if I should say that because it's kind of spoilery. And then there's Heart of the Woods, which is also under, I think it was Studio Coattails, but Studio Lawn and Studio Coattails merged together a couple of years back. So it's technically under Studio Alon. Heart of the Woods is there. For live action, Big Mouth was live action. So that was real people, and I'm just dubbing my voice to live action.
Okay.
Is that the only live action one you've done so far?
That's the only one so far.
Gotcha.
Now do you have any aspirations to do non-voice acting acting, I guess is how you would say that? Maybe that's not the proper terminology.
Just regular acting.
Just regular acting, like on camera acting and theater acting.
Yes. Yes.
At the current moment, I have no desire to do either.
Okay.
But should I ever change my mind in the future, I'm sure you'll see my face somewhere.
Awesome.
That's great.
Awesome. Now with you having done voices in video games, do you actually play video games, or is that just you just wanna like to do the voice?
I have been famously, I do not play video games because they stress me out. But however, most of my friends play video games, and I'm just like, I don't want to be the odd one out. So I'm just gonna like tip my toe back into the video game realm. I think I'm gonna get Stardew at some point.
Yes.
So I'm just gonna ease back into it because I loved Harvest Moon 64 when I was a child, and Stardew I think is like a close approximation to it.
Yep.
So I'm probably just going to start with that. And then the Kingdom Hearts series is out on Steam too. And I grew up with Kingdom Hearts. So I'm probably going to repurchase all of those games and play them again because nostalgia, and I love the story.
So you was an RPG kind of player?
Yeah, I'm a JRPG sort of player. I also play Dungeons and Dragons. I am a DM.
Same.
Okay.
So that's
Dang.
the other sort of gaming that I do.
That's ironic you say that. We just had an interview last week, and with Christian Eris.
Christian Eris, yeah.
Yes. And so right after our interview, he had to jet to go do a D&D DM. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, and I'm a newbie DM. This is my first time actually DMing. So I had to learn a lot of things very quickly.
Yeah.
I had to develop a story. I had to I don't fancy myself a writer in any way, shape, or form. However, to be a DM, you're going to have to learn how to write, or at least come up with some sort of plot. So I just
I cheat and I
What?
use Chat GPT to help me out.
yeah, one of my players uses Chat GPT to generate their characters, and I'm just like, I understand that, but why though?
I do it for the story because I get the idea, but I just need to make it make sense, and it helps me line it out.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know, if you can't make your own character, that's weird for me.
Yeah. But at what point it's like you make your character so how can I say this? Like you make your character so like unbeatable, it's like it kind of makes sense to I don't know how, like I've never played D&D, so I'm not up to, you know, up on like what is meant to do. And I know Roger makes custom campaigns and stuff, so you know,
Every
you know,
character is beatable. Every character is beatable.
My
okay.
AC is 30, and I have this one attack that will kill your character in one hit.
That's when I agree. Bring out dragons with ACs of 50s. Even at disadvantage, I'm hitting no matter what.
Exactly.
It's like, what are you gonna do? I guess I'll punch the dragon. Yes, punch the dragon. What's that?
You need to
Minus
roll.
1 XP. That's it.
No, you need to roll a 36 to hit
I
him.
rolled to seduce the dragon.
So now
Natural
seduction is
20.
that's a lower. You can do a 16 to seduce a dragon.
Are we donkeys? Like,
Yes.
I might be.
Dragons have very low charisma, so it's easy to charm them and stuff like that.
I guess so. Yeah. What's the matter with you? You got something in your eye? Oh, okay. Dragon,
Dragon. I rolled a dragon.
donkey. God, I ain't watched that movie in years, man. I need to go back and rewatch all the Shreks.
How do you think there's dragonborns? They're humanoid dragons. They have to be created somehow.
They
You
took
gotta
that as a challenge.
Oh,
I'm learning so much.
yes.
Good.
That is why we do this, so people can
Exactly.
learn.
Yes. Yes.
Always good to learn new skills.
Yes, it is. So if you could embark one piece of advice onto somebody who was wanting to get into the voice acting industry, what would that piece of advice be?
Keep your ego in check. Because you're going to audition for everything, but you're not going to get everything. Like, I remember one year I decided to track all the auditions that I did in 1 year. I think I sent out over 300 auditions.
Oof.
Nothing. So people will look at those numbers and say, why am I even trying? I'm obviously not booking any work. I am not desirable within this profession. So why am I even trying? But it's a long game sort of profession. You have to start somewhere. And your time will come eventually, but you're going to have a humble attitude. You're just going to have to grin and bear it, fake it till you make it, and yeah, cry a little bit after you send off the perfect audition and not get the role. I've certainly had a couple of those nights, but you just got to pick up yourself by the bootstraps and start all over again the next day because you
I
love
like
it.
it.
Very
I
inspirational
like it.
message.
Yes.
Love it.
Every day is a new day.
Every day is a new day, and your life can change in a moment.
It's a new day. Yes, it is.
And take acting classes.
And take acting
Of course.
You gotta throw that in there somewhere.
Mike McFarlane in the back of my head. Be an actor first before you voice actor. Okay. Mike.
Take your classes. Diversify your portfolio. Don't just focus on anime. Do radio plays, do original animation, do video games, do adaptations, do audiobooks. Audiobooks are huge right now.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm trying to like branch myself off into, is to do audiobooks. And acx.com is where you do that. So
Okay.
Let me write that down. acx.com. Got it.
yep.
All right. I am good. Ow, my knee. Sorry. Arthritis.
Don't
We
we
get
all?
it, you're old.
Shut up. Shut up, fool.
Hey.
You're about 7 years away from it too. I don't want to hear it.
It's a long time.
Well, I don't know. You played rugby forever, so you'll probably have it a little bit more before I at a younger age than I have.
Oh yeah, it'll definitely come up in the winter. It comes up all the time, so it doesn't matter.
I hate it. I hate it.
If you don't have knee pain, back pain, or neck pain, you're not doing life right by the time you're thirsty. Right.
There you
by
go.
the time
There
you're
you-
30.
Facts.
Yes. Yes.
Chiropractors are amazing.
I like that quote.
You're just saying that because you had back pain at like 22.
That means you need a different pillow, dude.
He was wrestling.
Dude, he was carrying me for 20 years. He's got to have back pain. I mean, come on. Dude,
I'm glad
I
you
ain't going
said it.
front. I ain't going front. Shit.
Um, so without breaking any NDAs, uh,
Wasn't that funny, Roger?
have
Shut up.
any, are there any upcoming projects that you can talk about?
Um, that is a good question because I have been pulling back and pretty much everything that I have been under NDA and has been released at this point in time. Um, oh nope, there's this one project that I literally cannot say anything about it, but I'm super excited for it. And when it comes out, I'm probably going to throw it all over Twitter and I hope people are excited about it.
Awesome. Speaking of Twitter, or
X.
It's still
X,
it's still Twitter. We don't call it
um,
X around here.
yes.
Mm.
If anybody wanted to follow you to learn what you had upcoming or to just gain a little bit of knowledge from you and what you post, where should they go?
You can follow me on Twitter at Kalyn_VO. I am on Twitter. I'm also on Instagram, though I'm much more active on Twitter than I am Instagram. It's the same moniker, Kalyn_VO. And you can follow me at those two things. Or if you want to be a weird person and like go on TikTok and stuff or something like that, you can again same moniker, Kalyn_VO.
Cool.
And you can also go to my website, KalynMcCabeVO.com.
Yes. And all of
Perfect.
her information will be in the description of this video.
Yes.
Yes. So Kalyn, we don't want to take up too much of your time. Um, so one kind of last question. Um, of all the auditions you've done, what is like that one project that you were like, I have to have this role, and somehow you got passed up? That just kind of it's like you want to go back and have that role again.
Goodness. Oh, I think there was, oh gosh. There was a audition for Crunchyroll for Love Live. I think it was another season of Love Live, and there was one character that I read the character description for, and I'm just like, oh no, this is me. I'm going to audition for this character like right now. And I auditioned for the character. I spent more time on that audition than I did anything else that day. But it was absolutely perfect. I felt really good about it. I sent it off, didn't hear anything back. And it was just like, I really love this character. I really love this role. I think I'm really gonna get it. And it's like the actor's curse of falling in love with the character and then not getting the role. But I'm sure whomever had that role is absolutely fantastic in that role, and I feel so happy for them. I'm sure they
That's
did a wonderful
awesome.
job.
That's awesome. I
Yeah.
love your positivity.
You're gonna have to be in this sort of work.
Yep.
But it's not really rejection, it's just selection. And I always have this philosophy of whatever auditions that I send out, the ones that are going to further my career, I will book. So if I didn't book anything, then it wasn't going to further my career. So
Yeah,
Great way to look at
It's a
things.
really
Yeah,
good, yeah, it's a
absolutely.
really good
Yeah.
outlook.
mhm.
Yeah.
most people don't have that sort of outlook, so that's amazing.
Yes.
So we were once told that the greatest thing a person can share is their time. And Kalyn, we greatly appreciate you sharing your time with us this evening.
You are very welcome. Thank you so much for asking me to do this interview. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, we're
Awesome.
glad you had fun. We're glad you enjoyed it. If you want to just hang out with us for just one more minute while we pay a couple of quick bills, thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight to this very awesome interview with Kalyn. Again, we thank her for being here with us tonight. Roger, Chip, anything you guys want to say before we bounce out of here?
As always, please do not leave without leaving a like, comment, share, and subscribe on Spotify and right here on YouTube.
Your turn, Roger.
And as always, thank you guys for the great support, the shares, the follows, the subs, the comments, everything. Without you guys, we wouldn't be able to do, great and fun interviews like this. Get to learn about industries in and outs and just about people in general, because it's always great to learn something new every day.
Absolutely. And if you guys want to continue to support Movement Radio, make sure you check out streamlabs.com/Movement Radio/merch and go copy some merch. Once again, Kalyn, thank you so much. All of her information, her socials, and her website will be in the description of the video down below if you guys want to check that out. Once again, can't say thank you enough. We appreciate you doing this for us. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. I'm Talon Williams.
I'm Chip Hazard.
I'm Roger Sierra.
Don't forget to love each other.
And this is Movement Radio.
God bless.